Hello and welcome. If you are watching this live, that's awesome. If you are watching this back on replay, that's even more awesome. So today is the graduation evaluation call for the 25-day reset program, where you have been focused on 2 goals for the last 25 days. So in this session, we're going to review the reset method. We are going to talk about the self-evaluation. We are going to cover your 2 goals. And then we come to the graduation and what's next. So you already know who I am, which is amazing. I'm an author, speaker, trainer of this book, which has now gone to 19 countries around the world. And this weekend I was told it's being read in Nigeria. It's made it there. So I'm super excited. That's the latest country that it's gone to. And I just want to remind you that your current location is not your final destination. Just say this thing to yourself over and over and over again, like that whatever is happening to you in your life, wherever you are right now, it's a step by step by step process. So we've been hanging out for the last 25 days, and it might be that you're not where you want to be or you wanted to be, or you're in a totally different place. But where you currently are is not where you are going to end up. This is throughout our entire lives. It is a journey of evolution. So the reset method, we have been reviewing, evaluating, strategizing, executing, and tracking. So reviewing is always about reviewing where we are right now. So you can literally review, where am I today? Versus where was I 25 days ago, versus where was I 25 days before that, versus where was I in 2020 maybe. I mean, a lot has happened over the last few years, and it has been a roller coaster ride for everybody. The pivoting, the reinventing, the starting over again has just been a constant thing. So it's always good to review where you are so that you just have an understanding of, okay, yeah, maybe I've done okay, or okay, maybe I was doing okay, and then something has just kind of caused me to take my foot off the pedal. Whatever it is, wherever you are, always review. And then this evaluating, remember we were talking about, it's about closing the gap between where you are today and where you want to be. So who you are right now and who you are going for. Who do you aspire to be like? Who does what you do? Who has this life? Who has this bank account? Who has this business? Who has this life balance? Find this person and recognize that if you can see it in them, it is in you. We cannot spot things in other people that aren't in ourselves. So most of the time we spot the things that are annoying in people, and that's because it's familiar to us. It might be that that trait was in us before, and then, you know, we've worked on ourselves, we've done the work, we've become aware of it, and it's not so prominent in us now. But it's just always about this closing the gap. And obviously, you know, I wrote the book about time management, and my whole thing is around productivity. But in essence, it's around performance. It's around how can you operate at your highest performing level? What is it that you need to do? Who do you need to become? And how you can do it is by breaking it down step by step by step. I spoke to a woman the other day who said she has a cupboard that needs to be cleared. I mean, we've all got cupboards that need to be cleared, or folders that need to be deleted, things, emails, how many emails are in your inbox. She said, there's just so much, like, I don't know where to start. And I said, start on one shelf, do one shelf, and then the next day, do another shelf. And maybe the next week, do another shelf. But by breaking it down and doing it bit by bit by bit, like, what do I need to do next? It makes it achievable. And the other thing is momentum. I've spoken about this before. Momentum is incredible. The whole getting into motion and keeping going versus stopping, but keeping going by doing it bit by bit by bit. Like, if you've ever walked a long way, run a marathon, maybe cycled something, swum something, you will remember that it wasn't done in the first stride and you didn't sprint it, you did it bit by bit by bit, mile by mile by mile, meter by meter by meter. So all the time we are executing whatever it is, whenever we hit a hurdle, we are overcoming it. How can I find a way, find a way, find a way, find a way? Because life is going to throw you a lot of hurdles. No matter how good you are, how good you think you are at things, things aren't going to always go your way. So we are doing this session right now. I'm in the throes of moving between places. I have temporarily mislaid something very, very, very important. Now, you would think that somebody who is organized, who does whatever they do, who was project managing all of the move, wouldn't do that. But we all do, because we're human, because we're not perfect, because things happen. But now it's about, okay, what can we do to resolve this situation? Where do we think it is? Who can go and find it? And then overcome that hurdle and deal with whatever happens, because things are always going to happen. Like, you might have the most perfect to-do list at the start of the day, and then something left field happens, somebody calls, and suddenly everything has to be moved on, like the dominoes. A run of dominoes has started and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So it's super, super important that you are tracking everything that you're doing all day, every day. And that this is one of the reasons why this is step number 5 in the process, because you don't know what you've done unless you've tracked it. You don't know what you didn't do unless you tracked it. And so you cannot evaluate what stopped you. And something always stops us, because we are growing outside of our comfort zone. And what yesterday stopped you won't stop you tomorrow. It's just an evolution. So this is why we have a self-evaluation. You will have been emailed a link to this, and it's super, super important that you make the time for yourself to evaluate what you did, what you didn't do, because this is a self-coaching practice. Now, you and I can do this together, but it's very, very important, I believe, that we learn how to become the coach of ourselves, of our own lives, of our own results and success that we want to achieve. So the self-evaluation is a number of questions that you take 10, 15 minutes to answer, and you will have so much more information about yourself. An aha moment will happen every single time that you do this. If we've been hanging out for a number of months, the aha moments will get deeper and deeper. If this is your first reset, then the aha moments will be whatever they are meant to be, because you can't change what you don't measure. So like I said, there's a number of questions. Here's 2, just to sort of give you an example if you haven't done it. How much did you participate in the program this month? And it gives you the option to reflect on why and what you were doing. And then that next question is what stopped you from participating more than you did. And again, that gives you the opportunity to reflect on, was it the time? Was it the motivation? Was it your mindset? Was it nothing? Were you happy with your participation? Was it that you were busy, at work or busy in your business? This sort of questionnaire, summary, survey will help you to assess your performance and evaluate it. It also gives you something to compare to where you were at the start to where you are now. So these 2 goals that you were focused on, I want you to think about it like this. I was talking about this closing the gap and closing the gap. So where you are at the start on day 1 and where you are today on day 25, you have been closing that gap step by 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 step. I want you to imagine that this is one side of a river and this is the other side of a river. And you have crossed this river over the last 25 days. This river is rapid, it's running fast, it's, you know, it's a scary white water river, but you have stepped across this river step by step by step by step, activity by activity by activity by activity. And where you are today has been closing the gap. So imagine this is what you have achieved in 25 days. Imagine that you do this over 12 months. And so that is 24 goals over 12 months. That's 2 goals per month. And it's crazy how so many people fail to achieve their New Year's resolutions because they are trying to do 24 things in 2 weeks, 14 days. Most people give up on their resolutions by around the 14th, 15th of January. So 24 things in 14 days, no wonder it doesn't work. So this process is tried and tested. You've done it yourself the last 25 days. Other people who've done it have found that they have been able to make progress. Perhaps not as much progress as they wanted, but perhaps it's helped them to reevaluate that they set themselves goals that are too big and they don't break them down enough. So this is why they weren't able to achieve it, because they were trying to build Rome in 25 days. And Rome was not built in a day, and it wouldn't have been built in 25 days, that's for sure. So where is your focus? Was it on your career? Was it on your business? Was it on your mind? Was it on your body? Was it on your health? Was it on your relationships, your boundaries, your life? This is your opportunity to look back and see what you're prioritizing this month. And to think, what do you want to prioritize next month? What do you want to prioritize next quarter? What do you want to prioritize as a theme for the whole of 2022? Because remember what we said, your success is inevitable. So whether it takes you a day, whether it takes you 25 days, whether it takes you 25 weeks, 25 years, 25 months, whatever, your success is inevitable. But doing a program like this is what shortcuts it. Working with other people, asking for support is what makes it done faster. Remember, we've always been going up, up and up. Even though we might have had a dip and found things challenging, we're still on this up, and this is you now on day 25. The other mantra of this program, progress over perfection. Perfection does not exist. Perfection is a perception, and everybody has a different perception of perfection. So always think about it. What progress did I achieve in the last 25 days? What progress did I achieve in the last quarter? What progress did I achieve in the last 6 months? What progress do I want to achieve going forward? Really, really start becoming hypercritical about the environment that you are spending time in. Is it supporting your goals? Is the space that you are in the vibration that you want to be working in, or is it cluttered? Do you need to make that a goal for next month? Is moving a goal? Is it that where you are is just not where you want to be? And then does your circle support your goals? The people that you spend the most time with, are they adding value? Are they uplifting? Are they helping you to become this person that you want to be? In the training area is saved the setup call, the mid-month call, and this graduation call is going to go in there also, along with your 25-day reset program, workbook, and your tracker. So now it's graduation time. I'm so, so excited. You can go to that area and download your certificate of achievement, print it off, write your name in it, and this is yours for the month of March. Just trying to think what month we're in. This is yours for the month of March, or whatever month it is that you are watching this. So what is next? Well, if you absolutely loved this program and want to do it again, we have the opportunity for you to do what we call our 24 goal year group program, where you can stay with us for the 12 months. Remember, I mentioned breaking down your New Year's resolutions into monthly goals is sort of the aim of the game with this. We are creating a 24 goal year journal that will be out later this year and will be yours with this program. It will go on sale on Amazon for, I don't know, price yet to be decided. You will get to do the resets again every month, and you'll get your own special mid-month check-in call. So there's two options for that. You can join for 6 months, you can join for 12 months, you can pay in full, or you can pay monthly. If this is something you are interested in, you will be emailed the link and you can sign up to that and stay with us. There won't be an official reset group next month. We will be relaunching it with some new and updated stuff for the following month. But if you're a 24 goal year member, we will be talking to you about what that means for you and what extra bonus stuff you will be able to get. So that is us for our 25 days. Let's have some questions and see how you've done and what you're at and what has challenged you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We can have a chat. So, who wants to go first? Griselda, Matthew? Don't all shout at once.
I'll let ladies go first.
Ah, like what you did there.
I think what's really challenged me this month, I don't think I've, without being self-critical, done as well as I did last month because of all those left curveballs that kept coming in. So with my first goal was sort of setting life affirmation goals, sort of setting longer term goals, which I've sort of done that. I think I just need a little bit more learning around that, but generally I got that and that's okay. But my other goal was work related. And then, I had new staff, I had students, and then it all just got a bit, what's happening? And that's not uncommon. So I don't know if there's a way to sort of manage that sort of left curveballs, I do try and make some things non-negotiable or certain times, but you just end up like this morning, I walked into work, I had this fine thing on my to-do list. I'll do this for 1 hour and go and start my day's work. And then, I was expecting students, 2 students, one came, the other didn't come. And then my junior staff, both of them came, but weren't meant to come. And so it just gets a bit, you then go literally throughout the day from one thing to the next. And I try and actually put boundaries on not bringing work home, so that I can have time with my boys because my husband is not around. But it's just, I'm just wondering if there are any sort of tricks around that.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing and for sharing so vulnerably. I think it's always honourable when people actually share their truth and ask the question, because that's the only way that we can learn and we can grow. So my first thing would be to say, don't underestimate the power of this self-awareness that has come to you as a result of doing the programme now for the last couple of months. Because it's the self-awareness that gives us the power to put processes in to make changes for the future. Otherwise, we are just what is the word? The responder to the situation. So we're always, respond. And we never have enough time to go, hang on a minute, does this happen a lot? if this happens a lot, what could I do? What process could I create to support me when this sort of thing happens? So that's one of the first things. Is sometimes people say, oh, I did the program this month and I did it last month and I didn't have as much. And it's because you're not always comparing apples with apples. We think that results have to be like a physical, tangible thing, and we just disregard self-awareness. Like, self-awareness is the ability to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. That's the work of Carol Dweck. And most people in the planet have a fixed mindset. They're like, well, if this has happened, then that's it. I'm just going to write everything off. So then that's the second thing. So you have this awareness that, okay, things are happening and I feel out of control. But how can you then not let that dictate the rest of your day, dictate the rest of your week? So that's when you have processes and protocols and things in place to say, right, so I'm going to leave the office. I'm going to go for a walk down the corridor. I'm going to make a cup of tea or coffee, or I'm going to go somewhere and do something. And I'm going to change my energy, change my state. This is sort of like the Tony Robbins work. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to reset. I'm going to start again. And this is how we take control of a situation, rather than it just becoming boom, 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 like, oh, well, the rest of the day. It's like that diet. Oh, yeah, well, you know, it didn't work out on Monday, so I'll start again next Monday. And it's like, why not, you know, just say, okay, I ate this, like, the world is not going to end. I'm just not going to eat another one. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, but do the self-evaluation and start to keep a track of it, and just really, really write down the things, and also write down like the culprits if they've got a name, and start to notice their personality types, because there'll be certain personality types. They call them archetypes. So there'll be a person who is like, Griselda, can you fix this for me? Or do they call you Dr. Rico?
No, everybody calls me Griselda. That makes me feel too old.
Okay. If I had a doctor, you'd literally be calling me Dr. Barnes, I'm telling you. I'd be like a dentist. I'd be like in that Hangover, but you're a dentist. No, I'm a doctor. Anyway, so just keeping track of their names and start to see, like, are they the one who's always trying to get you to fix it for them? Are they the one who's always like, oh, I've not got all of this stuff? And you start to notice, like, am I the mothering role in that relationship? Am I the fixer role in that relationship? Or am I the parent role in that relationship? Or is this a peer-to-peer? Because if we're colleagues, you need to step up. Like, I'm not here to do your job, I'm my job. And the tricky thing is, like, if we're family, then it's very hard. We used to sort of be the fixer with our families, but even still, I talk about it in the book about the Care Bear and teaching people how to fish. Like, it's so important that we recognize when we're just doing things for people rather than teaching them how to fish, because otherwise we're enabling them to be dependent on us. And they keep coming back. So I would say, reflecting back to you, the self-awareness that you've had this month will really, really set you up for your goals for next month. And maybe one of your goals for next month is to review this and create processes to support so that it can be going forward. And one of the best things with processes that I learned in my corporate world was, when you teach somebody how to do something, you get them to write the process. Because that's how you test that they heard you. So it's not like, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to write it. It's like, I'm going to teach you, you're going to write this up. It's going to become what they call, sort of in the project management world, an SOP document, which is standard operating procedures. Maybe you also have this in the medical. And then you're like, so yeah, so bring that to our next session and I'll review it, and then you can edit it, and that's going to go into the files for future students. And so if you really position it so they feel enabled and empowered, they'll be like, oh, this is really good. Like if you position it right up your notes, that's a bit boring. So some of it is you've got to make it exciting and fun for them. But I really think that that could be a great goal for you for next month and sort of game changing. And then maybe if your other goal was sort of health and well-being related, then there's a balance, because I always like the two goals to be one for your life and one for your career, business, work, whatever. Yeah, hopefully that is helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Matthew, the mic is yours.
Sure. So firstly, well done, Griselda. And yeah, the little bit of progress is always better than none. And actually, while Abby, coming onto this call, I was just thinking about doing a bit of a retrospective. So something that I've done a lot in my corporate life and whatever, and just had a look over the last 25 days, of course, everything that's been written. So did I get my goals? No, I did not, which is really frustrating. But if I consider like Wheel of Life and I consider what my diary looks like, which has now become a much more accurate representation of what I'm doing on a daily basis, then I think overall I have pushed a lot of constructive agendas forward, which are going in the right direction. So binary, I didn't get it. And I hold my hands up and say, not good enough. But I've obviously got this very accurate diary, and have got, more structure and awareness of when procrastination kicks in, which I've realized is a problem that I deal with. And I'm like, oh, I'll just quickly do whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like 4 hours. No, not quite, but you get my point.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to ask you to pause for just 2 seconds while I go and give some keys to somebody. Can you hold that thought? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm back. Procrastination.
Yeah, been trying to like hold my thought. Okay, train of thought. But yeah, look, I mean, what's the summary? Overall, I didn't get my goals, but I've pushed the right agendas forward. I've become aware that yes, I do procrastinate, and these quick little, not to mention like a bit of a rubber arm with family. And Claire, my sister, phones me, can you help me with? And then she's just up the road, and these things, they obviously time eat. And I think that's just the awareness factor that I've had. But, change some of my morning practices. When I meditate, it's like, I think our last call, I said to you that I just think of things while I was meditating, but now I've been very structured to like, what are the 3 or 4 things I want to get done today? And then I'll say, okay, did I get 50% done, 75% done, 100% done? And then I'm like, okay, look, I've at least moved these things forward, and have the conversations and just do the things that I want to do. So overall, not happy I didn't get them, but, and I can't actually say a but, because a but is just not good enough. However, learning and taking the right steps forward, and, becoming more aware, as you say, is steps in the right direction. And I think the sum of the small little bits that I have done over the last 25 days, there's a lot of near misses, and it's just a matter of time before we start hitting some bullseyes, I guess, is what I'll say.
I love it. So here's what I'm hearing you say.
Excuses.
No, not at all, because it's all progress. What I'm hearing you say is, again, similar to Griselda, the self-awareness. Like, you've both got the book, you've both read the book, you're both doing the thing. So I would say do another time audit, and this time track, and maybe Griselda, if you do this also, track like the people and the things. Because this Care Bear one, it's insidious. And so much of it, especially with families, kind of like guilt thing of like, especially as you just said, you're only down the road, or you know how to do it, or you're so good at this, or I just don't have the time. But you do, because I mean, you work for yourself, so you're so flexible. And it's like, I work for myself, which means if I don't work, I don't get paid. Is that flexible or is that pressure? You decide. And they're like,
Yeah.
I just need to get it done. And you're like, okay, pay somebody.
Yeah.
But you can't pay family. So you're like, pay somebody then. So I think some of that is really, checking your time, and then as maybe a goal is like around boundaries. And sometimes our goals don't have to be, I'm going to make 10K this month and I'm going to get 5 new clients. Sometimes our goals quite literally are, I'm going to set my boundaries and take control of my time distractions. Because then when we do, we can focus in. And here's the funny thing, the money and everything, the success, whatever we want, is always circling, but it can't come in because there's all this other stuff distracting it, like sucking its energy away, taking it up. So still waters run very deep. And the thing that I love about this program is that it's so multi-layered, and the more you do it, the more you kind of just develop a level of self-awareness with yourself. It's almost like, the most accessible way of coaching, because, coaching with coaches is a very different price point. But I really, really love that. And my other thing would be to say, ask yourself, and maybe when you do the self-evaluation, ask yourself, was your goal something that you actually set in some ways to sabotage yourself? Was it a stretch goal? Did you have all your ducks in a row in order to be able to achieve it? Or was it something where in the back of your mind you were like, oh, I need to come up with a goal, I'm gonna build Rome in 25 days and see what happens? And sometimes we do these funny things because we're human, and we are on some levels kind of afraid of the success more than we are of the failure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. And I think you're right. Like as I said, the sum of the little goals, right, is the sum of the little goals amount towards the right goal, to the achievement of the big goal. Was it a stretch goal? Look, I'm critical of myself, so I will say it was not a stretch goal and it should have been done. Did I have my ducks in a row? Now that's an even better question. And no, there were a lot of, okay, I need to do this in order to get, and I need to, speak to this person in order to get that. And so you have to kind of lay those foundations.
So you're answering your own question, sorry to interrupt, which is basically, it could have been done if I'd had all my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And you also use the word should. There is no should. I'm not Yoda. Like, it is or it isn't. And I think the self-awareness of not having the ducks in the row, because on paper, everything is simple. Or everything is easy. Sorry. On paper, everything is easy, but the reality is in life, it's not simple because of all the blah, 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 blah. Not to mention that monkey mind chatter, which is just off the charts. So the self-awareness piece almost is one of my most favorite realizations that people can have at the end of 25 days, because you're not BSing yourself. If you don't have the self-awareness, you are literally still in this victim mode of, the program didn't really work. No, you didn't work the program. The program works because it's so freaking simple.
Yeah, it's just about instilling the practices and the habits.
Take some actions, get some results. So, amazing. But reflect on it with the evaluation. And if you've got any questions, let me know. And if you want to join me and Griselda in the 24 goal year thing, either for 6 months or 12 months that we're building, then we would love to have you, because it's just me and Griselda at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's definitely about instilling the daily practices and the habits. And I think that there's a lot of that going on now, which is really good. So yeah, there's just got to, I wish this call was on Wednesday, because I've got a very constructive meeting on Wednesday that could be the achievement of the goal, but I have to wait for Wednesday.
maybe it is, and maybe that's part of the thing, is that I need to detach from the timelines, and I also need to detach from, I must achieve the goal as I planned it to be in order for it to be a success. Because one of the big things in life is that we can have a goal, but actually something better can be coming for us. So I always say this or something better, and not to be ungrateful, that the self-awareness. And so maybe one of your big realizations was, I didn't need to achieve that goal in the 25 days in order to feel like I achieved something in the 25 days, if that makes sense. Because sometimes this whole need to be perfect and hit the thing is, and the binariness of it, the analytical, can really be detrimental to our am I good enough? Was it enough? Kind of narrative, if that makes sense.
Sure does.
So yeah, amazing.
Mhm.
Do you guys have anything more to add before we call this month complete?
No, I'll just say thank you very much, Abby. I mean, obviously to go through it and to work through the program was really helpful. I'm very grateful to it. And of course, I'll say it to anybody who asks, but that book was a revelation and a game changer. So well done. And yeah, I'm just glad that I've now, as you say, got that awareness and stuff that I'm, actively paying attention to and improving on. So thank you for putting this up, because it's a good challenge to have gone through.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us. Amazing. Right.